Okay, I'm going to be doing a long form video. I don't do these often, so here's just a little precursor to what we're going to be doing. My name is Daniel from Kaizen 3D Prints, and I'm going to be showing how to make this little fidget ring using Shapr3D. So we are going to be creating two parts today in the software. One is going to be the soft inner shell with a little groove in it, and then the second part will be the hard piece that has the little nubs on it, or whatever design we want to do. So with that said, I'm going to try not to edit this video, so you might have to watch through or skip around or do whatever you want to do. I hate editing stuff. So without further ado, I'm going to switch over to the Shapr 3D camera, and then we'll get into it. Okay, we are now in Shapr 3D. This is the CAD program that I use for pretty much everything CAD related. And on the screen here, we have the one that I already made just as that demonstration. So we see that we have the inner shell, zoom up here just a little bit more, and then the outer shell that consists of these little pieces that I union together. So let's go ahead and turn this off. So I'm going to go into the items. Here I'm in isolation mode. So if I click this isolate off, it's going to have kind of all the bodies that are in here. I can either turn these off just so I'm not seeing them, but still keep them in the same workspace. Now we have the plane, the work plane here in Shapr 3D, and on the right hand side we have a little cube that we can show what view we want. So in this instance, I'm going to click the top view because I'm going to be creating a cylinder. So we'll go to we can turn this item tab off so we get a little bit more space on the screen, and we'll hit this sketch button. Now, when we hit that sketch button, we see the Y and the X axis here, and that green dot that's in the center, that's the origin. Generally, I like using that just as my point of reference. So we'll go over here to this circle, and for this ring, I'm going to be making just a ring to fit my pointer finger that's 21 millimeters for an inside diameter. So when you click that, you can then type in manually your number, or you can click and drag. So I have uh, the circle, and now we can either free move around if you want to, or just keep it in the same orientation. I want to offset this by 1.6 millimeters. So I'm going to hit the O button, or you could find this offset edge right here, and we can type in 1.6. So now we have two circles. If we hit the escape button or the exit sketching button, we see we have two light blue shapes that we can extrude. So if I were to change this view while we have something selected, we're going to see arrows pop up. And this would be the distance that we would extrude that shape. So if I wanted that center portion to be 5 millimeters, the outside portion to be 10, we'd type those in. This would create two separate bodies. I don't want this inside body because it's a ring. So we have this portion, and I'm going to set this to, I believe, 8 millimeters tall is the one that I did prior. So we'll just keep that same. And now we have a cylinder that will act as a ring. Now on this, I'm going to right click and I'm going to sketch on face. And that's going to bring up the other sketch options, and it will interact with the top surface of this ring. So I'd like to make another circle, and I'm going to cut into this halfway through. So if my inside diameter is 21, the outside diameter is 24.2. Oops, I think that's a little bit thick because I doubled the outside diameter. I didn't want that to be, that is 3.2. I want this to be 1.6. So 21 plus 1.6 is 22.6. And that should get me a little bit closer to that ring depth that I want. Now, when I sketch on face, and I'm going to make another circle, we can see zooming up that 21 millimeters would be the inside edge and 22.6. So I'm going to split the difference here and go 21.8. So for the inside of the wall, we can just keep that 21.8. I want at least two walls 3D printed. And because one wall is on average 0.4 millimeters, makes sense to have the inside 0.8. So now I have this portion, and if I wanted to, you'd come down here and drag this down, but I don't want to affect the top of the ring. I just want to affect underneath it. So we're going to go back into this sketch, go back to my top view, open up my items and click on this most recent sketch number 7. And I'm going to create an additional circle around it. So now we have these two pieces that I'm going to move. I'm going to hit the M button and I'm going to move down by 2 millimeters to negative. So now we can see that still offers a little bit of space here. And now if I have a total of 8 and I want 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom, I'm going to select this circle and I'm going to extrude down by 4 millimeters. And that gives us the center channel right there. If you wanted a little bit less ring in that, we could move this up to say 1.6. So we'll click this sketch, hit the M button, and instead of 2 down, we go negative 1.6. That means on the inside, we would be going down 0.4 times 2 is 0.8 plus 4. So we're going down 4.8 negative. And that gives us a little bit more meat on the inside. So we have this ring with this center channel. Now we need to change the edges. So, because right now there's an overhang. If we print this flat, this is a 90-degree overhang and we don't want that. So we're going to click on this line. If we zoom up a little bit more, this line can then be dragged either a fillet or chamfer. So if you want to change it, you just do the drop down and we can see how that actively changes. So because this was, I don't think 0.5 will work. Oh, yeah, we got 0.5. And then we'll do the same thing on the bottom, 0.5. So that's all we do for this center ring. So if you wanted to size it for yourself, you would create another circle that's 20 millimeters inside diameter, 19, 7, whatever it is. I will make all of these, all of them for this particular thing before I upload them. This is, again, just an example for my ring size. So now that we have this one done, we can go ahead and rename this body as 21 ID inside diameter TPU ring. And then we'll be creating another circle that is the overall height of that. So that was 4.8. We can also just sketch and it should line up. So as we're hovering over, it'll say, okay, here's an edge, and we can drag it down and say that edge right there, 4.8. So on that, we're going to be doing the same thing. Let's go to the top view. And in this, we're going to be creating a circle. We can do it just on the, we could do it on the origin. You could do it free floating. So here, the inside diameter of this one is going to be the 21 plus the 0.8 walls. So it'd be 21.8 plus a little bit of a clearance. So we want, let's say 0.2. So 21 plus 0.8 plus 0.2, we'll say 22 inside diameter for this one. And then we can extend this, if we hit the offset button, we can extend this by, let's say 1.2. So that would be 3 walls thick. Now, if we just extrude this, we'd want this 4.8 millimeters. And that would align with the center of this. Now we can take this edge and I can hit align and I can click that up, the upper portion, and that is going to bring this in line with the center ring. We can hit done, so it's all uniform. Now we can take this and we can turn it off. So now we're just working with this inside ring, and I want to fillet both of these edges by that same 0.5. So when we bring this back in, I'll turn on this section view here. So if we click on a plane, click this section view here, and then it'll bring up a little arrow. We can see how those rings don't interact. And there's that little bit of clearance in between here. So we don't want it to be a super tight fit. We want it to have a little bit of movement. So turn section view off. And I'm going to turn this inside diameter ring off. And I'm going to relabel this as, this is going to be outer ring for 21 ID. Okay. Now, this in itself would be fine. You could export this and it would be, wouldn't necessarily be, it would still spin, but it wouldn't have anything to grab onto like this does. Like it has those little nodules on there. So let's go ahead and make those nodules. So if we go to the top view, sketching something isn't necessarily going to be as conducive as sketching it on the side. So if we go to the front view, and if I make that same cube, I can either right click this and say sketch on face, but because it's a circle, it's not going to be exactly straight on. So we'll just keep that in consideration. So here we'll do just a center portion. If we made it all the way up at 4.8, we want it to be a little bit smaller. So let's say 4.4 is fine by 4.4. And we'll just make that a square. And now if I bring this up and extend this out, we see that this doesn't necessarily line up. So I can click and I can bring this up in the middle. If we try to align it, it's not going to work because this is a flat piece and this is a circular. So if we go align and if we try clicking that there, it said, hey, we can't do that. So I'm sure there are different ways for you to do this. This is just one that I've used when I'm eyeballing it or making it however I'm designing. So I do apologize for my lack of knowledge experience with all the different tools. I just kind of get around it. So with this, this is an individual object, and I want to make this a chamfered object as well. So if I select this front face, and if I come down here to a chamfer fillet, then I can select that and make it a little stud. Either bringing it out would fillet and bringing it in would chamfer. So if you wanted a point versus a little bit more of a radius or kind of a tip. I personally like this a little bit more. So I'm just going to go with like a 1.75. And this, we can then go over to the pattern button here. And we're saying that we want to pattern it around this ring, but I also want to make sure that it is connecting. So I'm going to bring this in a little bit. And manipulate it just a smidge until we get these edges embedded into the ring, like so. That's looking good. So now when we double click this, we select the body, we can go to the pattern selection, and you'll see this little circle pop up. This is the origin of where that pattern is going to go. So if I click the ring, the outside, that center point is going to be on the z-axis, which is where our origin was for the ring in the first place. Now, if we rotate this around, it's going to follow that the contour of the ring. And if we bring it back to the original spot, it'll say 360 degrees. Now, here you can make this as many as you want based on how fidgety you want it to be. In this case, we're going to go 12, and I'm going to say OK. If we try to export this, we have this one ring and these floating pieces that are not doing much. So I'm going to select all of them, and I'm going to union them. Now, this one ring is one solid piece. And if I try to come in here, we're again looking at printing. I want to make this as blended as possible. So I'm going to come up here and get these top lines. Oops. So we're going to click the line, and then we can manually bring these up. So depending on how we want that chamfer or fillet to be, let's say I'm going to keep this at a 0.5, and I can do that for these other ones as well. So you can right click the mouse to rotate freely, and if you accidentally click something, you can just click it again and it will deselect it. I do enjoy using this on the iPad, Shapr3D, because we could be doing this stuff with a pen and it makes it pretty nice. Try not to rotate so quickly. And then we can take that fillet and just manually add that as a 0.5. And we'll do the same thing for the bottom portion, which is what we would want in the first place. Let's see, rotate this. Clicky, clicky, rotate. Okay, and then we'll do that same thing, 0.5 millimeters. Done. Now, you could, if you wanted to, you could chamfer these as well. I'm going to keep them just the same for this version. So that's it. That's what is required. So now we have both the pieces, the outer shell, the inner shell that's printed with TPU. We can go ahead and send these to the slicer and get them printed up. If you have questions about this process, put a little comment in there. I apologize if this wasn't as fine-tuned or edited as it could be. Again, I'm just trying to get the information out there. If you want to use this program, I'll throw a link in the description. And other than that, happy printing.